I am relatively positive there is nobody in the world that can ever say they 5-minute epoxied a connecting rod into an engine.
Hi guys, I made a joke to Dad about a 3D printing connecting rod, and it's escalated.
I want to be clear. John has non-stop wanted to try this. I posted up what was supposed to be kind of a gag photo to the Facebook page, and next thing I know there's like 100 people saying we should try it. And then I end up with people sending me messages about how to do it so it might actually work. So fine, we're gonna try it. So, on the last video of this project, we had this block with our little prototype that we're actually working on making an aluminum one. So John can rotate it, and you can see the prototype is in there. And then the comment section and John got involved. And so here we are now with this pile of plastic. This is our final design that we're going to try today. But in order to get here, we had to break a bunch of stuff. We had a couple of printer failures right here because I was trying to print in a couple of different directions because prints are strong in the direction that they're printing, but they're not as strong in the line layer setup. So this is printed with the lines going this way in the layer, so it's got strength this direction, and this is printed with the lines going this way in order to have strength across where the bolts are going to go. Now the problem is we need an engine. What do we choose for an engine? This 7 horsepower, that way more than 7 horsepower, so that is out. The other thing is these use a Ducar system. We designed this based on a GX200, so that piston does not use the correct pin. If we come around here, we've probably got a few more engines. That one is also going to be based on a Ducar. That's only 105 cc. That is our sacrificial lamb for this video. That's 160 cc with a 160 head on it with only a 68mm piston, but it is using a GX200 style pin through the top, which is an 18mm for the roller bearing. That's going to be our sacrifice. Before we stuff this thing in, let's verify the engine actually works correctly. Kill tether in place. Don't be the dummy like me that always forgets that. Here we go. There you go. As you can see, it is a mongrel, but it runs. It likes to be happy at about 2,000 RPM. I'm not sure what's up with engines that John uses primarily, but they always end up with oil about this color. Do you mind what's the explanation?
I don't have one.
Okay. Do you like the new CC drill? Impact, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than you don't like the stop feature when you're pulling out bolts.
Yeah. So, if you put it on, it goes, and it doesn't go out all the way, so then you gotta go again.
But every zombie movie says you're supposed to double tap to make sure it's dead. See, it's a zombie killing drill. There you go. John's working on getting the stock connecting rod out of there. I've got the head popped off and set off to the side. Not really the way you're supposed to do this, but we know this isn't going to work. We just want to see how long it works before it doesn't work, right?
Yep.
And one thing I find funny, just while we're killing some time, it says standard GX200 piston upside down on the Chinese piston. You know, if you're gonna laser etch it, you could at least put it on right side up. Like, why take the effort?
I don't know.
The good news is the pin that's in this is an 18mm Honda style pin. The bad news is, and I hope you can see this in camera, it's been self-clearancing itself in the piston and was actually a tad bit on the stuck side. The other thing I noticed is this cheap Chinesium piston off of Amazon has eaten most of the silver layer off the top here. So this one should be black and this one should be silver. And as you can see, the silver is not so silver anymore. So that probably explains why the oil looked the way it did. Oh well. Let's get it thrown in there. I am relatively positive there is nobody in the world that can ever say they 5-minute epoxied a connecting rod into an engine. We're going to give that a solid like half an hour because it's chilly out here, and then start buttoning it back up. As I wonder why all my magnetic picker-upper things end up broken, John's over here playing washer fishing off of the car lift. I wonder why the hell all of them are broken. Anyways, John and I decided to stick the engine in front of the diesel heater for an hour or so to let it be warm and let the epoxy settle in. It's the next day. Everything is nice and epoxied in. The whole rotating assembly is happy as can be. And the next question is, how close to top dead center does this thing come? Yeah. I really honestly wasn't thinking I should have designed the rod to be the stock length and not the 20 over that it actually is right now. But we put the thickest possible head gasket that we could find on so that hopefully we can lower the compression to give this thing the best fighting chance that we can. So that's cool. That is not cool. Something in my rod design is catching internally with the bigger bolts, I'm betting. You ever upgrade something and then realize you broke the system? That's what we did here. We upgraded our bolts, which actually stick out the end and are hitting right there in the case. So I think I'm going to have to grind the case for clearance, because if I start grinding, because this is the bolt that we designed it originally with that didn't stick out through, and if I pull that back, you can see the upgraded bolt sticks through right in there. I'm not proud of my current choices in life, but it's ground down, it clears. I'm going to probably spray up in there with PB Blaster or something to wash all of the chunks down, but I'm not changing the oil. We're going to see if it actually fires. We all know this is going to fail.
Put your bets down below inside the comments on how long you think our 3D printed connecting rod is going to last.
Right now we have no spark plug in the unit. It's sitting in front of John because we just want to make sure that it spins over and that we don't thump into something again. So we're going to give it a tug. I'm going to lightly tug first, and then we're going to give it a wallop of a tug just to see if we break something. Ready? Okay, that was a nice one. Now I'm going to give it a wallop of one and make sure we don't break anything. Okay, I'd say we put the spark plug in, give it some compression, and see what it does. Well, we're here right now. Not a sponsor of this video, but I would like to point out that the spark plug is from HIPAA Carburetor, the carburetor is from HIPAA Carburetor, the pull start is from HIPAA Carburetor. If you'd like a company to work with buying off of Amazon, I highly recommend them. On the other hand, HZ products off of Amazon, anything you buy from them, you will be modifying to work. That's what the head on this thing is from HZ off of Amazon. So we'll get this tightened up. And of course in the HZ head you can't fit the wrench. Now, spark plug on. We're only pulling to see if we can have compression. We're not trying to start it on this first pull. So, compression check. I can hear it cycle. I can feel a light compression. Yeah, there's a light compression there. I think the valves are a little bit out of tune, but give it a hit? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. We'll give it a hit. We got choke on. Gas on, spark plug on, tilt tether. Okay, give it a hit. I hear bad rolling noises after one hit. I don't think it's connected inside anymore.
No, it's not.
I think we got one hit. John's bet is he thinks it snapped at the piston. My bet is that it snapped at the end cap where the bolts are. Make sure you throw your bet down below. Let's see some carnage. Oh. If you dump oil everywhere, you're the one who gets to clean it. Because this was your idea to do this. What are you doing?
I'm kind of pulling.
Is it wedged?
Oh, it's got the oil already.
Uh-oh. It's wedged. Well, wait a minute. We just had it spinning, so how can it be wedged if we just had it spinning?
Yeah.
There's what?
There's blue chunks coming out.
Oh, there's blue chunks coming out. Okay. Alright, go ahead and take that off. It should come off now. Yeah, push on that and pull it off. It should come off. Yeah, something wedged. Oh yeah, oil dripping everywhere. There we go. Oh yeah, there's no end cap whatsoever. It's just absolutely obliterated. There's the bolts and everything sitting right there. Yep. All kinds of chunkies. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, interesting. So that's where the bolt was. The 5-minute epoxy held. This is the top one because I had to file that off earlier when John was gone Christmas shopping. So the bolt actually held. What about, oh, what is that? That's, uh-oh. That's piston. You owe me a piston. Shameless plug. Everybody supports John on Patreon. Nobody cares about me. If you want to support John's ideas and the things that he talks me into doing here on Redneck Computer Geek, using the Patreon page is a good idea.
And it will fund this project.
We pulled the cam. Doesn't seem to be any damage there, but there's a few chunks going on still. Oh yeah, look in the engine case. Yep. We're gonna pop the head off. We're gonna see if we kiss the valves when it let loose. because we know we broke the piston skirt. And of course it's binding up because that's what it does. Let's see on the inside of there. No, I don't see any kissing. Because of the small chamber that the 160 head has, if the piston did come up, it wouldn't have hit it. Now let's see if we can get the piston to come out. Here we go. We managed to get that pushed out because there's nothing left of that connecting rod. And I think the crack noise we heard was that. That bearing is ouchied. And I think what's weird is it's got a flat spot. So I don't really know how that happened. I'm confused. Why did it explode all of that and then create a flat spot on the bearing? Where the hell did that come from? John's idea was really cool. Yeah, sure it was. About 5 hours worth of monkeying around and problems, and it lasted one pull. Now do you see why I was like, no, that's a dumb idea? And you're like, but Dad, you're so smart and you do the CAD design and I'm sure it'll work because you're brilliant. No. No. Sometimes you have to face the reality of the strength of an item. Not happy child land. Okay, so seriously. Legos are cool, and they make air-powered Lego engines all the time, and John is obsessed with them, and so I can understand him thinking Lego, plastic, air-powered engine. They're not the same category. It doesn't translate from Legoland to Kapow Land. As it is right now, this is the state of the connecting rod. And this is the state of the bearing, which means that somewhere in this engine, there's at least about 4 of these needles. So I've got to find all of them. I still don't know how that happened, that flat spot. I'm very confused by that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. What do you think broke first? Do you think the top of the connecting rod in the piston gave out when it went off and then obliterated the whole connecting rod down through? Or do you think the rotating assembly is where it gave out? But then that doesn't make any sense because how did it obliterate the center of the connecting rod then? Because if it died at the rotating assembly, then the top half would be up top. But if it died in the piston on the explosion, then that would explain why it obliterated everything down through. But then why wasn't the rotating assembly still sitting on the crank?
That still doesn't explain on how we got a dent.
Yeah. So I think we have more questions than we do answers, other than the fact that a 3D printed rod in a 6 horsepower engine is not the same as a Lego air-powered engine. Did we have our learning experience?
Yeah.
Can Dad go back to working on real engines now?
Yeah.
You know what the follow-up to this is going to be?
A 3D printed head?
No, it's going to be, John made me kill my engine, so can I make it run again? That's literally what the video title is going to have to be. John kills engine with dumb 3D printer idea, now must revive. Maybe to put in mini bike, ? I don't know. A lot of people have asked whether we thought we could take this hybrid engine and we could put a 70 millimeter piston out of a Predator in it, even though this is a Rado-ish style block, but it's not a Dakar. Even though it's running a Ducar flywheel, it's a mongrel. Anyways, I'm babbling because I'm tired, and this took way too long to last. There's too many jokes that could get put down below that I'm not even going to get into on how long it lasted. Anyways, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.